Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Good morning. I'm sorry.
Good morning.
You were saying something and I silenced you with the video. So what were you
You
saying?
silent me. I said TGIF, TGIF. You
TG
know what it means?
TGIF.
Thank God it's Friday.
Ah, TGIF. Really?
Yeah.
Even with the pandemic, I don't see a difference anymore. See, for me Friday is
Um,
just like Monday.
I don't need to get up all day in at 6:30.
Yeah, I know, I know.
It was
Especially,
amazing. It was a 2 weeks, amazing 2 weeks,
yeah.
but
Oh, actually, I'm glad you're saying that. Of course, the positive feedback is really good. But since this is our last session, okay. By the way, next week you're back to the normal schedule, Wednesday and
yeah,
Friday. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So, well, for me too, it was great. I mean, it has been great because we are still here, right? But
right.
I would like to hear from you. I mean, about this experience. What has it been like? Tell
Um,
me, tell me everything.
well, it has been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have been learn a lot, much
Mm-hmm.
more because the repetition um, consolidates the information, you know,
Yes, definitely.
and I like this methodology.
Mm-hmm.
And well, even in 7:30 of the day,
even having to get up so early.
yes,
Even,
in this cold weather,
mm-hmm.
but it has been great.
It has been great. I think so too. And I completely agree with you when you say that this repetition, this more intensive approach, right? Because for the past 10 days, we've met regularly at 7:30 every day. It's interesting because the way we respond, the way our brain responds. For instance, you could remember the following classes,
Yeah.
pieces of vocabulary from the previous classes very easily, right? Things that Daryl said. Now we're working with Bono and his daughter. For example, what do you call people that are born on the same day and share a strong connection?
Cosmic twins.
And
Yeah.
what is the verb that you use when you have that feeling that it seems that you
Uh,
finally realize something like the coin
yeah, to
drop?
dawn.
It dawned on me, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so,
And the other thing it's because I have been past the day or the days
mhm.
thinking in English sometimes because
Ah,
I think that the routine makes my brain thinks more in English, you know.
that's very interesting. So you think that the fact that for the last past day, for the past 10 days, right? We met every day. We met regularly at 7:30 in the morning. That process triggered another process, which is the
Yeah.
thinking in English process. So because you had your first activity of the day was an English class, for the rest of the day you kept thinking in English.
Yes.
Okay. And let me ask you a question because for me this is very curious and it's good for me to learn from the students. For me it's good to learn through their experience. I do that too. When I watch something that has an impact on me, my mind keep thinking about that. So for instance, lately I've been watching some documentaries about AI, artificial intelligence.
Mhm.
because nowadays there's a race going on between America and China. China wants to lead the world in AI. In fact, look, and now I'm gonna do the verbatim thing, and I'm gonna reuse the English. I'm going to use something that Daryl said at the end of his talk. Remember that he said that Americans think they're the greatest nation in the world, the greatest country. And he thinks that before they can brag about this, that their ideology should catch up with their technology. Because
Mhm.
technologically, yes, they're probably the most advanced country in the world. Anyway, catch up. So China said, because they're the second most advanced nation in AI technology, in in, artificial intelligence. By 2025, they want to catch up with America. And by 2030, they want to lead the world. They want to be the first nation in AI technology. So I've been watching some documentaries about this, about artificial intelligence. And it's really incredible what some scientists and researchers and companies are doing nowadays with artificial intelligence, you know. And but what I'm saying is this: I go to bed and I wake up thinking about those things, you know, thinking about what's going to happen and so on. So I think it's very interesting and it's very cool to hear you, you know, as a student say that this more regular contact and more intensive trigger that it makes you think in English, because I think this is really positive in the
Yeah.
experience.
Maybe,
Okay.
maybe I need some English pills.
Take a pill in the morning, right?
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God, I wish I had that formula, and I wish I could. Yeah, but anyway, let's keep going with our traditional style for now. Okay,
Yeah.
and tell me something. Well, we're streaming, right? You know that we're streaming. I don't think there's anybody. Now I'm completely lost. Where? Ah, here it is. Okay, so I'm streaming. Nobody has joined us. But for example, Veronica, later on, in case this is gonna be in our YouTube channel, if people decide to watch our sequence, those 10 videos are there. If people
Uh-huh.
decide to watch what we've done, and now that we've got to the end of this experience, um, if you were to give someone a piece of advice about their learning process, about learning the language and advancing and so on, uh, what would you say? I mean, of course, you have some ideas, right? But based on what we've done, for example, this week, what do you think someone, or anyone studying the language, can do in terms of, I don't know, incorporate, implement some specific practices, like routines that will have an impact on their development with the language. In other words, what would you advise people to do?
Uh, well, I think first, be patient, folks.
Be patient. Beautiful. Why? Okay, I completely agree with you. Okay, but why do you say that? Be
Ah,
patient. I completely
yeah,
agree with you, but I want you to verbalize, to elaborate on that. Why? Be
yeah, yeah.
patient.
Because I think the learning is a process,
Mm-hmm.
and um, um, I think people have different time
Uh-huh.
to learn things.
Uh-huh.
So if you are like me,
Okay. If you're normal, right, Veronica? So
that
if you're
means
normal, right? If you're
that
like
means
me, you're normal.
that needs this repetition to consolidate the information. So be patient, and and things gonna happen
Uh-huh.
naturally. I think that's it. And uh, don't. Give up.
Don't give up. That's another great
Don't give up.
message.
Yes.
Hmm.
Even if you have to make mind maps or
Which I
things
hate. My bloody teacher keeps pushing me
like
to do something that I don't like. That
yeah,
bastard.
yeah.
But be patient. Be patient with your teacher. Maybe
Yes,
maybe he wants something good for you.
yes. I think that's it.
That's it.
There is no secret.
There's no secret.
Yeah, there's no secret. Just patience
Y-
and uh, focus.
You know, it's not a coincidence. I think things happen for a reason. Just yesterday, in my last class in the evening, I was saying with different words, I was saying the same thing with different words. Um, I was trying to convey the same message. Be patient, and picking up, borrowing something from Bono's conversation with his daughter when he talked about the fact that she was born prematurely. He said, "Well, you were rushed into existence."
Mhm.
Do you feel that when we're learning the language, right? Maybe you have felt that way. I know that I have felt that way with other things that when I try to learn something. I think it's human nature to rush, you know. So, for example, and I think you said it well and you said it wisely. You can't rush it, you know. Uh, each one of us has a different timing. So maybe for you it's going to take, I don't know, 6 months. For somebody else it might take a month. It might take a year, and you have to learn to deal with that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, but when we started working this year again, or in this last stage of our relationship with the language, I don't know if in order to review Simple Past, I showed you a video that I made a long time ago about the woman who wrote Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling. Do you remember that video?
I don't know if I saw.
Maybe you have never seen it, right?
Yeah, I've never seen.
Okay. So it's a simple video, right? It tells the story of J.K. Rowling in 3 minutes. It's a very short summary. And I have a mind map on the video. I superimposed the images.
Hmm.
And the story goes like this. It's very simple. It goes like this. She was born in England in 1965. When she was a little girl, she loved reading. And she wrote her first story, Rabbit, when she was only 6 years old.
Hmm.
She studied French at university and then worked as a secretary in London. So when I show this video to my students in the early stages of the course, they normally go like this. But this is easy, Alfredo. I understood everything. And okay, so can we go to Netflix now and watch my favorite series? And we normally do that. And I tell them, okay, we can do that, no problem.
Hmm.
But the question is, before we do that, my point is, can you tell me J.K. Rowling's story again with the level of accuracy and fluency that I told you? Because then we start talking about, J.K. Rowling, and they go like this. Okay. She born it? She born it? No, no, no. She was born. Okay. I'm sorry, I forgot. And then they start again and say, okay, she is born. I said, no, she was born.
No.
She was born in England in 1965. Okay. And simple things like she wrote her first story, and the name of the story was Rabbit,
Rabbit.
when she was 6 years old. So yesterday I was doing this with a student of mine, and he said, okay, and then she her first history with 6 years. See, her first history with 6 years. I said, well, that's beautiful, but that's Portuguese. That's not English. And I said, look, she wrote, when you write something. What did she write? Oh, she write first story. Not just first story. No, she wrote her first story. And the time is important. I'm sorry. When did she do that? Well, she wrote her first story when she was 6 years old. So my point is, why was he making, and I repeated the story, fluently and accurately several
Mhm.
times. And it doesn't matter how many times I told him the story. Every time he reported, he would say history, and he would say with 6 years. Do you have an explanation for that?
Anxious,
Anxiety.
anxiety. Yeah,
Anxiety, right? But
yeah,
you see my point. You're rushing. You think
yeah,
this is too easy. I don't need this. Alfredo, give me the good stuff. Give me this, the more advanced English.
hmm,
But the problem is, I can't give you the more advanced English. It's easy for me. It's
yeah,
all over the place on the
hmm,
internet, YouTube, Netflix, and so on. But the thing is, until you've actually digested the
yeah,
basic English, and 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 before we advance, you have to be able to say, now I'm okay. I really mastered this. Past simple, construction of very basic sentences. I'm comfortable with this, and I'm doing fluently, naturally, and accurately.
yeah,
And that's the thing. I think we tend to rush things. And then, of course, we crash, we stumble. And it's frustrating, isn't it? I think it's frustrating. But on the other hand, if we learn to relax, I love to use, I don't know if I should say a metaphor, but it's a message, I got from a film. I think when people study a language, they picture themselves, in the future using the language fluently, with a complete, full command of the language.
yeah,
Okay, so this is like a journey. So they only think about their destination. They forget to enjoy the ride. They forget to enjoy the journey.
yeah,
And I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but what we had this week is exactly that. We enjoy the journey.
yes.
Isn't that true? I mean, I think I enjoyed it. I have enjoyed it. I'm still enjoying it.
True. Yes.
Okay, dear. So let's just recap a little bit on the last part of the video.
Just one more thing. Uh, you don't need to be perfect because even the Americans,
The native speakers,
the
right?
native speakers,
They're not.
they are not.
We
Yes.
well, great message. I'm very happy you remember this. And
Yeah.
we saw two examples of that, right? We
With
saw
Daryl
Daryl.
and with Bono.
Yeah,
Yes.
because Daryl wanted to put cans of sodas into a nice into a bucket of ice to make them warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wanted to offer his guest a warm drink.
Yes.
First mistake. Then there was another moment when Daryl forgot to use past perfect. He
Yes.
started the sentence using simple past, and then he went back and corrected, right?
Mhm.
And then like yesterday we saw Bono doing that thing, right? Which
Mhm.
was, can you tell me what we noticed about Bono yesterday? About
Uh,
celebrity and the
yeah.
particle if celebrity.
Yeah. He started the sentence with if celebrity is what? What the word is what?
Well, actually, he didn't say. I mean, we were. Uh, it was left to us to infer based on what he said later. But for
Mhm.
example, if celebrity, if being a celebrity is worth anything, if being a celebrity serves us any good,
Mhm.
and then he explained.
Yes.
What else do you remember? Do you remember anything else about what he said?
Uh, mm,
His definition of love or
yeah.
something that upsets him? Do you remember or
Uh,
not?
it's weird when I have to say something that is in the middle of my scene.
Ah, okay, but describe your scene then.
I need to think from the beginning
Ah,
to put
okay.
the things in order in my mind.
No, but I don't think you're wrong. I think this is only natural.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
but I'll tell you what. I'm just picking up the video here, and I think we should do that. We go back to that moment when he was talking about what being a celebrity means to him, right?
Okay.
Because I think his daughter was asking him what was his greatest achievement, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And I think that was the question that triggered
Uh-huh.
this, right?
Right.
You know, Bjork is a friend and an
He
inspiration.
said the things that celebrity ends up got
Ah, up
values,
ends, up
up
ends,
yeah, up
up,
ends got
up.
values.
Exactly, he said that as
Yeah,
well.
and what else?
Well, let's refresh
Yeah.
our memories watching
Okay.
it again. Okay, I'm gonna go back a little bit on
Hmm.
the playhead.
Hmm.
And an inspiration. And she always says, a musician in Iceland is like plumber. He's like carpenter. And we shouldn't see ourselves as something else. But if celebrity has anything to offer, it's that you can use your celebrity to shine a light on issues and put a spotlight on people whose voices are not heard. I think we do have to make a deal with ourselves, with our family, with God about this inequality. So I just live a life that I think is the right life for our family. We try and
Okay, I'm gonna break into smaller pieces today because it's a lot of things to remember.
Yeah.
So the greatest achievement, right?
Hmm.
So he said, if celebrity, and then celebrity is ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous is the word. Yeah, he said if celebrity is ridiculous, uh,
What does he think we can use celebrity for? I mean, your celebrity status.
yeah, he he said um, celebrity could be used for um, put a uh,
Shine,
not
shine,
uh,
shine a light
shine a light
on
in on issues
on issues, right?
and spotlight people
Mm-hmm.
who who can't be heard. I
Exactly. In other words, to give a voice
voice,
to
yes.
those people that are
Mhm.
not heard, right? Okay.
Right.
And in the very end, he said something about his life, his family's life. Do you remember what he said?
Uh, no.
No? Okay. Let's listen again. No, no problem. No problem. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go with 340. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I made a terrible mistake here. Oops. Let me just type it again. 340. Okay. And now.
and put a spotlight on people whose voices are not heard. I think we do have to make a deal with ourselves, with our family, with God about his inequality. So I just live a life that I think is the right life for our family. We try and deal privately with some redistribution of that wealth. But the most important thing that I can do is try to fight the causes of poverty. Thanks.
Okay. By the way, you did it again, and
What?
I'm feeling embarrassed.
Right.
You see, we picked up different words. I focused on voice, but you
Yeah.
also retained a
Word.
spotlight
Spotlight.
because you're absolutely right. He
Mhm.
said that he can use his celebrity to put a spotlight on
Yes.
people whose voices are not heard.
Uh-huh.
Congratulations. You see? It's your memory, it's the verbatim thing.
Yeah, because when he's talking,
Uh-huh.
I I, I create a scene in my mind, and I saw the shine light in issues and the spotlight in people.
You see that's another excellent tip
I,
for
yeah, I
for
think
people.
I should be a movie director. I don't know.
Why not?
Why
Why
not?
not? If this is your gift, there's still
Yeah,
time. There's still time.
yeah.
Anyway,
I
so
had imagination. All have imagination. Like
yeah,
the band
like
mother said.
exactly, right? You
Yeah.
have the whole
Oh,
world. Yeah.
yeah,
And you are probably one of those people, right? Who can see beyond. Yeah, you can see that.
the film Patch Adams. Do you
No,
remember
no, I can't believe this.
how many fingers?
Veronica, look,
Yeah.
this is just incredible that
What?
you no, seriously. No, it's just amazing. There's something cosmic here, I think. I don't know if we're cosmic twins, but there's something cosmic here.
No,
Uh
because I my birthday is on May.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Are you
but you are on April.
yeah,
You,
are you Taurus? Are you Taurus?
yeah,
You're
I'm Taurus.
Taurus?
Yes.
Okay. My mom is Taurus too. But listen, let me tell you this because this is just incredible. Do you know when was the last time I saw this film, Patch Adams?
I think a long time ago.
2 days ago.
2 days.
2 days ago. And
I
this
love
is
the
and
film.
this is an old film. It,
We should work with this film.
this is
Yes.
our next project.
Yeah.
Definitely. 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 But let me tell you this, it's an incredible story. So, uh, 1 week ago on Sunday, I was at my little son, João, my second child, because I have two. So he's the youngest one. It was his birthday on Saturday, so I spent the weekend with them. And then on Sunday, when I was about to leave, because I had to come back to my house and I had to work as well. But I don't know if you know this. Probably you know this through your nephews. Do you know that boys, actually girls too, but they say that mainly boys, at around the age of 7, they establish a very strong connection with their father. The father figure is very important to them. Have you ever heard about that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so my little boy nowadays, he's like glued to me. Every time we go somewhere, he's glued to me. I really feel like to him, I'm the greatest person on earth. I'm his hero and so on. And we do lots of things together and so on. So anyway, it was his birthday. And sometimes he drives his mom insane because he's very active. He likes to play a lot. So before I left, I had an idea. After lunch, I told her, look, I'm going to take care of him and you go and have a rest. You can sleep in the afternoon for an hour. I will study with him a little bit. I'll do the homework. I'll study mathematics with him. and and you can relax. You can rest. And then I promised him that we were going to study for an hour, and then we could watch something on Netflix. And then I remember that when my first child, my first son, was his age, I showed him Gifted Hands, and he loved it. And my intention, of course, was to instill in them the thing with reading. You know, I wanted them to see Mrs. Carson forcing the boys to read. I wanted them to see Carson improving his performance at school and so on. So he accepted, he agreed, because his hero suggested a movie. So it has to be a good movie. So we sat together and we started watching the film. But I was going to watch only 30 minutes of the film with him. And then I was going to ask his mom when she woke up to take over so that I could take off and go to work and do my things. But he wouldn't let me, you know. He made me sit down on the couch with him and said, "No, Daddy, this film is awesome. We have to finish it today." I said, "Okay, that's an important moment." So I did, and we watched. But you have to understand this. For a hyperactive kid to sit for an hour and a half and watch a film, it's a great achievement, you know? So because of that, I stayed. And it was really interesting because he really paid attention, you know? And we made sure to stop the video at key moments and ask him, "João, why did he go to the library and get 2 books, for example?" And then he would say, "Oh, it's because his mother turned off the TV and told them that they were going to, you know, to read books." And then we asked him, "Okay, João, but where did she get the idea?" "Oh, it was from the professor's house because she was cleaning the library and she saw all the books, and in front of the television there were books." So we did that, you know, we brainwashed him and it worked. Okay.
Cool.
So anyway, I came here to work. One day later, when I opened my Netflix, guess what? Artificial intelligence. They suggested Patch Adams because even though they're different stories, but it's also a beautiful story. It's about a doctor. It's about a doctor who cares, blah, blah, blah. And then I thought, well, this is João's next film, you know, because, you know, it's another beautiful story and so on. And then I watched up to that part. You know, I didn't finish because I thought I'm going to watch with them later. Because, you know, that man, he was one of the greatest minds. He was an industrial developer or something. But he went crazy, you know. And then he asked that question, how many fingers do you see?
Yeah.
So you have to look beyond what you can see. And then he said that if you focus on the problem, you never see the solution. You must not focus on the problem. You must focus on the solution. And I thought, wow, again, what an incredible message.
Yes.
And now, 2 or 3 days later, you've seen the film. And you talk exactly about that scene. So when was the last time you saw this film?
A long time ago,
Yeah.
maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
God, that's incredible. But it's amazing what impact this film had on you, right? Because
Yes.
you memorized that scene so vividly.
Yes, lessons.
And you like to keep them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Okay, so let me type that thing here again. So about his life now, okay?
Yeah.
And put a spotlight on people whose voices are not heard. I think we do have to make a deal with ourselves, with our family, with God, about this inequality. So I just live a life that I think is the right life for our family. We try and deal privately with some redistribution of that wealth. But the most important thing that I can do is try to fight the causes of poverty.
Okay. Well, he said that um, we all have to make
Make
a
it.
deal
Yes, make a deal
with
with.
with ourselves and with our family and with God.
Brilliant.
Yeah, um, and then
Okay, but this deal is about what?
um,
We have to make a deal with ourselves. We have to make a deal with our families, with God.
yeah,
But to do what? What was the
yeah.
message?
He said I didn't understand a part when he said wealthy. I didn't
Ah,
understand that little part.
okay.
And I just remembered the last thing he said
Which was?
was that we all have to fight. I don't know if fight, but uh, uh,
The.
uh, fight for causes in regard to poverty. How can
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so now let's organize everything because I
I-
think you remembered a lot. Congratulations, by the way. Well, first thing, yes, you're right. He suggested that we have to make a deal with
Mhm,
ourselves, with our families, and with God. But when we make a deal, right?
mhm.
Actually, before I advance, let me ask you this question. I know you're familiar with the expression, let's make a deal. Okay? So
Mhm.
if you say that to me, hey, Alfredo, I want to make a deal with you, what would have to come after that sentence? If you say, look, I want to propose a deal, I want to make a deal with you,
What's the deal? What is the deal?
what is the deal, right?
Yeah.
So the deal must be about something. So for example, let's suppose that you are not, but let's suppose you were a difficult student, a student who I had to convince every day, oh, Veronica, for Christ's sake, stop using Portuguese in class, stop translating, this is an English class, let's speak English, right?
Right.
And you came to me and you said, okay, Alfredo, I'll make a deal with you. And the deal is, if you promise me that we are going to finish our classes every day with a song, you know, from one of my favorite bands, then I promise you, I will not use English. I'm
Portuguese.
Portuguese. I'm like Daryl now. I'm sorry. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Maybe I think I'm gonna have to retire. I don't know. So Veronica, so the deal is no more Portuguese in class. That's the deal.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So when he said we have to make a deal with ourselves, with God, with our families, what's the deal? What is the
Was
deal?
I don't remember.
Okay, but considering the
Mhm.
context, what do you think the deal is? What do you think he's suggesting?
Uh, um, be a nice person.
And what does it mean being a nice person, considering what he said, what he has said
I
about
don't know. It's too difficult.
yeah. No, actually, it's simple. No, let me tell you
Let's
something.
see
Actually, it's
again.
simple. No, no. Actually, it's simple. But you inadvertently, you might be thinking that I'm complicating, that I'm asking something complex, but it's not. For example, let's just go back a few seconds, right? Didn't he say that he wants to use his celebrity to First,
Shine light
shine a
issues.
light on issues, right?
Yeah.
What are or what is at least one of the issues that he has already talked about?
The poverty.
Poverty. Even if we don't remember others,
Uh-huh.
poverty. That's one. So to
Mhm.
shine a light on poverty. Next thing, put a spotlight on people whose voice are not heard.
Mhm.
In this case, what is he talking about?
Um, I don't know, a lot of things, maybe about racism.
Exactly. It could be about that, right? It could be
Yeah.
many things. Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, these are the two subjects that we know he has mentioned, even if
Mm.
superficially. And then he says, well, we have to make a deal with God, with ourselves, with our
Mhm.
families. A deal about what? What's the deal?
I think because he's a celebrity and he has a good life,
Mm-hmm.
and um, he has a nice family, and he has his children.
Mm-hmm.
He has love, and well, he's happy, and
Okay.
in um, and the deal is maybe to to pay all these good things that he has.
Uh-huh.
um, he he should be, or he should use his um,
Celebrity status,
celebrity stuff. That's
his influence, his power,
yeah,
his
yeah, um, to make a better world.
mm, that's the deal. That's the deal. Look, if I'm Bono, right, and I say I have to make a deal with myself, and so the deal has to be, I'm not going to ignore this. I'm not going to pretend that this doesn't exist. In other words, the deal is I'm going to do something about it. I
Yeah.
don't know what this something is, but it's more than nothing. I'm
Mhm.
going to do something. So we have to make a deal with ourselves. We have to make a
Mhm.
deal with our family. In other words, involve our family in this fight, in this project, right? And with God, like you said, I'm so fortunate tonight when I say my prayers and I thank for everything that I have. I'm going to make a deal with God and say I'm going to do something with my celebrity. I
Mhm.
think that's what he meant.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to make a deal. I don't know if you're going to remember that because now we talked a lot about this. But after that, he said, well, I have tried to live a life with my family. And then there was that thing with wealth.
Yeah, and that's the part that I didn't understand.
Right. He said this, that he has tried to deal with this issue of redistribution of wealth privately. So, what is the message? Well, the message is, remember that earlier he said he thinks celebrities are overregarded and overpaid.
Yeah.
So, what he's probably saying is that he makes more money than he deserves, than it's right or something. So, what does he do? He redistribute his wealth, but they deal with that privately. It's not
Mhm.
something that it's on the media. It's not something that other people know about. They deal
Mhm.
with that, the redistribution of wealth, his money, and they
Uh,
deal with that privately. So, what do you think he does when he says that? We deal with this privately. we do some redistribution of wealth. In practice, what do you think he does?
Uh, I think he helps that. I don't know if in English is ONG.
Right. Yes. Non-government organizations.
Yeah, yeah.
Non-government organizations. Yes.
No,
NGO.
NGO. Yes.
NGO.
Yeah,
Non-government organizations.
yeah.
So he donates, right? He contributes. He helps
Yes.
them. He supports them.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. That's it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So that thing that you didn't understand with the word wealth is this. They deal with this redistribution. So in other
Mm-hmm.
words, they get this money. It's too much. We don't need this. My family is comfortable. We've got everything we need. What do I do with this extra money? So he really cares. And the last thing you said, I just want to organize the way you put the words together. Remember he said something about cause and poverty?
Yes.
He said
Mm-hmm.
that his job or his motivation is to fight the causes of poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Because fighting poverty is not a good idea. How do you fight poverty? Well, you go to Africa, you take a plane with like, I don't know, 300 tons of food and you help them. Does it really help?
No.
Actually, it doesn't, right? Because people are going to eat that food. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
shit that food. And then, oh my God, we're like, we're like, I should at least have said defecate, right? But I said shit. Okay, but anyway, nobody's there. Okay, so, but what I meant is this: you go there, you take a plane full of food, and you feed them for 3 months.
Yeah.
In 6 months, they're hungry again.
Yes.
So he feels that his job is to fight the causes of poverty. Okay? And I guess
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Let's just confirm that. And
Ah,
then,
he said about equality.
or inequalities.
Uh,
Let's confirm
yes.
equalities or
I think
inequality.
equality.
Yeah?
Equality. I think.
Well, let's think. He's talking about issues, right?
Mhm.
Inequality versus equality. Let's see.
Yes.
And put a spotlight on people whose voices are not heard. I think we do have to make a deal with ourselves, with our family, with God about this inequality. So I just live a life that I think is the right life for our family. We try and deal privately with some redistribution of that wealth. But the most important thing that I can do is try to fight the causes of poverty. And they're structural, they're not simple. And that's why I'm in the One campaign. I think the thing that offends me the most is the waste of human potential. If I had
My
Yeah,
God.
I think it's inequality.
Inequality. But
Yeah.
you see, it's incredible the way your brain works. Did you notice what happened?
What?
You remembered chunks of what he said. You did not remember equality, inequality. But now, in the end, when we watch it again, did you pay attention? Did you realize where that word belongs in the context of his speech? Did you pay attention where he used it
Uh,
or not?
I don't know.
No,
Uh,
what I mean is this. Look, what I mean is this. Remember that just a couple of minutes ago, I was trying to extract from you what the deal was. Remember, I said,
yes.
look, when we make a deal, we make a deal about something. There has to be a deal. There has to be a proposal. There has to be a subject. A deal on a subject. For example, in our English class, the deal is no more Portuguese. That's the deal. You're not going to use Portuguese in class anymore. But in that context, what was the deal? And we didn't know. I kind of elicit from you the words issues, the word poverty, but in the end, you remembered the word was inequality. And so he said, look, we have to make a deal with ourselves, with our
With our
family,
and God
about what?
about this inequality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But do you understand what I'm saying? I think it's
Uh-huh.
interesting the way your brain worked. Because
Yeah.
before I played, you said, oh, but I remember there's inequality. Where? Where
Yeah.
are we going to put inequality? And now
Yeah.
we know it's right there. We
No,
have to.
because I remember because the thing that he said in the last in the end
Uh-huh.
about the redistribution.
Redistribution.
Yeah, and why you redistribute things
Uh-huh.
because there is a inequality. You know.
Inequality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Okay, so and then after that, well, the last part now. The question I want to ask you about that part is, what is the thing that
That most
offends
affects him.
the most? Yeah, what offends him the most? What is it? What is
The,
that
um,
thing?
uh, the the potential of
Actually, the
the human
waste. The
waste,
waste.
the waste of the human potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now let's see how he's going to elaborate on that subject. Okay? Brilliant. There we go.
Try to fight the causes of poverty. And they're structural, they're not simple. That's why I'm in the One campaign. I think the thing that offends me the most is the waste of human potential. If I had a definition of love, it was something to do with realizing the potential of the people around you. I was a chess player when I was a teenager, and I see some down and out sleeping on a park bench, and I think he could be a champion chess player or an athlete who's smoking crack. That's what it all comes down to for me, is that we can realize each other's potential. You know, you look at a disease like malaria and you think of all the Mozarts, all the Steve Jobs, all the Bill and Melinda Gateses, all the brilliant people. We don't know how many of them we've lost through a tiny vaccination or a bed net, not having that. That's probably at the heart of who I am.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we finished the video, but we haven't finished talking about it yet. Okay. I was just checking to see. Can we stretch 5 minutes? Are you okay?
No
Yeah.
problem.
Great.
Uh-huh.
Because I think it's very important that we finish this conversation about this video because it's so rich. So
Yeah.
tell me, the thing
Well,
that offends him the most.
the most is the waste of the human potential. And he said that if he could define love, uh, he would say that um, now uh, realizing the human potential. I don't remember.
No, you're right. He realizing the human potential of people around us. For
Yeah,
example, when he was a teenager, what kind of game did he play?
a chest.
He played chess, right?
Yeah.
So then sometimes he sees someone, for example, like a person, a man, an old man, lying, sleeping on a park bench.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at that man and he wonders, he contemplates an idea, right? Well, maybe that guy could be
A chess player?
a champion, a
A
chess
champion?
champion.
A
And we don't know, right? Because maybe he's got the potential, but
mm-hmm.
he's never had a chance,
A
right?
chance, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or he's got the potential, but nobody pays attention to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he also said something about an athlete. Do you remember what he said? An athlete. He talked about drugs.
Uh, yeah, I heard crack, but
So that's what he was talking about. An athlete, right? Who's on crack. So imagine a kid that at school at the age of 16, 17 was the fastest runner. But then he got involved with bad people and he started using crack. So that potential that he had to be one of the greatest athletes in history is gone because now he's on crack. Okay? So what is this? A waste of human potential because he had the potential to be. So if he had a definition of love, that would be it, right? Identifying or realizing the human potential of the people around you, around us.
yeah.
But then in the end, he said something else. He said something about disease. He mentioned malaria. Malaria.
Yes.
Do you remember what his point was? What his argument was?
Um, Not the argument, but I remember some words, and he
And,
said
and what word do,
malaria, and he said all the. He mentioned Bill Gates, Melinda
Bill
Gates,
Gates, Melinda Gates, Steve Jobs?
Steve Jobs, yes, and tiny vaccination vaccine. Uh, but I can't put these things in order.
Okay. So let me help you connect those things, right? So he mentioned malaria. He mentioned Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Melinda Gates. And then he said something about losing people. So what's the connection? The connection is if we think about all the Bill Gates, think about the plural, not just one. Think about all the Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Melinda Gates, and all the great people that we probably have lost in the last 100 years through a disease like malaria that could have been saved with a simple vaccination, with a simple bed net. But I want to show you something interesting. This is our last class of this week, and I want to show you something peculiar. Bono makes it harder for us to understand. Do you know why? Because he doesn't organize his thoughts in order. I'll show you why. Pay attention to this. He does some crazy things. You see, in order to understand Bono, you have to get a big chunk of what he says and then organize yourself because he doesn't deliver them in order. Watch this.
Okay.
It's really interesting for us learners of the language. This is really interesting. Look, let me just put it in the right position here.
Try to fight the causes of poverty. And they're structural, they're not simple. And that's why I'm in the One campaign. I think the thing that offends me the most is the waste of human potential. If I had a definition of love, it was something to do with realizing the potential of the people around you. I was a chess player when I was a teenager, and I see some down and out, sleeping on a park bench, and I think he could be a champion chess player or an athlete who's smoking crack. That's what it all comes down to for me, is that we can realize each other's potential. You know, you look at a disease like malaria and you think of all the Mozarts, all the Steve Jobs, all the Bill and Melinda Gateses, all the brilliant people. We don't know how many of them we've lost through a tiny vaccination.
We don't know how many we've lost through a simple tiny vaccination. But that's crazy. This is contradictory. We lost them because of vaccination. No, we lost them because of the absence of vaccination. But he only talks about vaccination in the end, saying not having them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He said, look, the thing that offends me the most is the waste of human potential, right?
Right.
He said something like this: I see some down and out. What is a down and out? Well, it's a homeless person. So I see some down and out sleeping in a park bench. And I go, oh my God, but this could be a chess player champion, right? Or I see an athlete smoking crack. So it all comes down to that, the waste of human potential. Okay. And then he moved on to this other subject, which is diseases, malaria, for example, and said, think about all the great people, Steve Jobs, Melinda Gates, all of potential people like that.
Brilliant people.
Brilliant people that we have lost. We don't know how many we've lost through a simple tiny vaccination. But what are you talking about? If you vaccinate, you save, you don't lose people. You're telling me that vaccination kills people? If we stop the video there, that's what you're going to think. But now,
Yeah.
watch the way he fixes it in the very end. Watch this. It's really, really interesting. 300 and I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. Here we go.
Waste of human potential. If I had a definition of love, it was something to do with realizing the potential of the people around you. I was a chess player when I was a teenager, and I see some down and out sleeping on a park bench, and I think he could be a champion chess player or an athlete who's smoking crack. That's what it all comes down to for me, is that we can realize each other's potential. You know, you look at a disease like malaria and you think of all the Mozarts, all the Steve Jobs, all the Bill Melinda Gateses, all the brilliant people. We don't know how many of them we've lost through a tiny vaccination or a bed net. Not having that. That's probably at the heart of who I am.
Did you hear it? So he said vaccination, right? Vaccination or a bed net. A bed net is that thing that you put around the bed so that the mosquitoes can't bite you when you're sleeping, right?
Yeah.
So we lost Mozart, Melinda Gates, and so on. Why? Because we do not have vaccination
Nation
or bed nets.
or bed nets. Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
You know, to see a native speaker do that. Because that should function, or that should serve us as a kind of consolation. It should comfort us. Because sometimes we screw up when we're trying to speak the language. But if we think about it, it's difficult for them, and they're native speakers. So we should be patient, right?
Yeah.
We should be gentle with ourselves.
Yes.
Okay, dear. So that was it. Did you like this video?
Yes, very much.
Very much. Well, I'm glad you did, because you know this video really touched me. I cried it. First time I watched it, I cried. No, because I think it's so beautiful, you know. Look, a father and a daughter relationship like this, it's beautiful already. It's beautiful. Full stop. That's it.
Yeah.
But when you think that this guy is so big, he's Bonovox, you know,
Yeah.
he's Bonovox from YouTube. He's
Mhm.
one of the biggest uh, rock bands of our time. He could be an asshole.
Yes.
And he's such an amazing human being, you know, an incredible. He's got so much money, so much money. And at the
Yeah.
same time, you look at him and the way he's dressed, you know, the way he's speaking to his daughter, so beautiful, you know.
Yes.
I cried. I cried. Because I think it was, you know, the way they started the conversation. Who's your favorite? Oh, you're definitely my favorite. I mean, the other ones, I've gone off with the other three. You're my favorite. And then they get to that point, they're cosmic twins, you know? And he said, I remember in detail when you were born, you slept on my chest for 2 weeks. I'm crying already here. No, but do you know what I mean? Because I don't know, maybe it's because I've had kids, you know, I have two kids. And I know what that's like. You know, when they're kids, when they're babies, they're so small. And you do everything you can, you know, to protect them. And you give them your best. You really feel like you're a lion, you know, you're so strong. And because they're so special. So it's such a beautiful, special relationship. Anybody
Yeah.
who has kids uh, should feel that. I'm not sure if everybody does. But when you see a celebrity, you know, such a famous person, because I think one thing that happens when you become a celebrity, I think it's very easy for people to get lost. You know,
Yeah.
it's too much
Mhm.
power, too much
Mhm.
money, and most people can't handle it, and then
Yes.
they screw up.
Mhm.
Some of them end up killing themselves. For example, this morning, I caught myself in the shower. You know, I was washing my head, I was shampooing, and I thought, what a loss. Robin Williams killed himself. He is the guy who made Patch Adams.
Mhm.
He's the guy who made Mrs. Doubtfire. Remember the
Mhm.
comedy? Mrs.
Yes.
Doubtfire. I love that film. It's such a beautiful film. It's about family, you know, it's about a father crazy for his children, you know, in love with his ex wife. Such a beautiful story. And he killed himself. How
Yeah.
can somebody with that talent end the life like that? It's crazy, right? So I think
Yeah.
it's so beautiful what Bono said, you know. For him, one of the things that offends him the most is a waste of human potential.
Mhm.
Because you see, money is something that, okay, you can make some money. It's good because you can buy things, you can travel, but it's definitely not the most important thing
Mhm.
in life, isn't it? Because when you die, all the money you made is gonna stay behind. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know. I'm crying. Oh my god! I should have brought this subject because now
Revenge.
it's too emotional. I don't know how to handle this. Oh my god. Okay, let me
Revenge.
recompose. So Veronica, it's been very nice, you know, having you here for 10 days on these live sessions. I hope we can do it again.
Yes.
Dear, once again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart because you know that even though we've been live, nobody's been watching us. Maybe they will in the future, okay?
Uh-huh.
But the experience has been great. It was fantastic for me because I've been
Yeah.
able to test the platform, to test my connection here. I learned a lot about the technical aspects of going live. And I needed someone. I need you know what we call a guinea pig. I need someone to be the experiment here with me. And I thank you. Okay?
And I thank you. I'm glad to had been invited.
Yeah, I think and you know, I think I invited the right person, you know, because it was very easy working with you. It has been. It has been.
Yeah, thank you very
So
much.
I wish you a great weekend. Have a break, have a little rest. But on
Yeah.
Wednesday, we're back. And I love your your suggestion, you know, about Patch Adams. It's a great film. We got
Yes.
great scenes there, and I definitely want to work with that. But let's make a deal, okay? Deal.
Okay.
Let's use the
A
word
deal.
deal. Let's make a deal with ourselves here, okay? On Wednesday, we get cracking with gifted hands. We advance, cover everything. Finish that project because it's terrible when we leave a project unfinished.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's terrible. Okay, so let's finish that project. And our next project could be Patch Adams.
Okay.
Okay?
Deal.
Great. Bye bye. Have a great
Bye bye
day. Bye.
for you.